This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(6:45). This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Lal Malharachi and read by Lavani Vijayatunga. First, take a look at the headlines. The progress review on the 2022 budget proposals will begin tomorrow. A cabinet paper is to be submitted to pay compensation to the families affected by the drought. The Electricity Board says that the power is provided without interruptions amid the dry weather. The second stage of the second term of the school this year will begin tomorrow. The second Randoli Perera of the Kandy Asala Festival will parade the streets today. In news overseas, Putin says Wagner mercenaries must swear allegiance to Russia. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the local news. The progress review on the 2022 budget proposals will begin tomorrow. State Minister for Finance Ranjit Siamlapity says that the relevant proposals were obtained on last Tuesday. A challengeable budget will be submitted next year. It is also hoped to submit a proposal that will provide facilities for a positive economic path. He made these remarks while participating in an observation tour on the construction of the Yatiyantota Garagoda Bridge at a cost of 460 million rupees. The Disaster Management Centre says that 19 districts have been affected by the prevailing drought. Nearly 300,000 people were affected by the drought. The northern province is the most affected area, with more than 23,680 have suffered from the severe drought. The highest temperature has also been reported from the northern province. A large number of crops have cultivated were also damaged completely. Minister Mahinda Amaravira says that the amount of the cultivated paddy lands where crop damage has occurred due to the prevailing drought has increased up to 60,000 acres at present. A cabinet paper is to be submitted with regard to paying compensation to the farmers affected. The highest amount of crop damage is recorded in the Kurunegala district as of yesterday, and the second highest amount of crop damage is recorded in Undavalava. The Electricity Board says that if the prevailing arid weather continues to prevail, the available water levels in the reservoirs will be sufficient only for another 4 weeks. According to the state-owned utility, hydroelectricity generation capacity has gone down by 15%. The CEB further mentioned that the electricity is provided without interruption at present owing to the thermal power generation. It is reported that the water capacity of the Samanelavawa reservoir has dropped by 1% and the Castle Ree to 21%, Pausakele reservoir to 35% and Victoria reservoir to 25%. Accordingly, only 300 gigawatts of hydropower can be generated in the coming weeks. Meanwhile, the total gross electricity generation from thermal power plants has increased to 65%. In addition, about 11% of the electricity generation capacity has been added to the national system through the use of solar and wind power. The second stage of the second term of the schools for this year will begin tomorrow and it will end on the 27th of October. Meanwhile, 2 days of leave have been granted for those teachers and principals who are involved in the GCE honor-level paper marking process. Accordingly, tomorrow and the day after will be given as leave as per the decision made by the Ministry of Education. This is the news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. And we continue with more local news. The second Randoli Perera of the Kandy Asala Festival will parade the streets today. A large crowd of viewers were present in Kandy City yesterday to see the first Randoli Perera. The final Randoli Perera will parade the streets on the 30th of this month. Meanwhile, the Railways Department said that 4 special trains have been deployed for the convenience of those visiting Kandy for the Kandy Asala Festival. Special trains will operate until the 30th of this month. Trains have been deployed from Colombo Fort to Kandy and back to Colombo Fort. Sri Lanka Transport Board has also deployed about 350 buses from various towns to Kandy for the convenience of the people. Meanwhile, the police says that the special security program is underway in Kandy City during the Perera season. The cremation ceremony of the late Anunaka of the Ramanya Mahanikaya at the head of the Pathaduwara Bhikkhu Training Centre in Munuwangada, Venerable Nandagamuwe Vijaya Maitri Thera will be held today at 2 p.m. Venerable Vijaya Maitri Thera has rendered a great service to the country and the Buddha Sasana during his clergy life. The Thera was also a member of the SLBC Buddhist Advisory Board. The Thera was 73 years old when he passed away. Arrangements have been made to hold the cremation ceremony after the remains of the Anunaka Thera are taken in a grand procession from the Munuwangada Pathaduwara Buddhist Centre to Jamalavatta Sports Ground. And to conclude the local news, the headlines once again. The progress review of the 2024 budget proposals will begin tomorrow. A cabinet paper is to be submitted to pay compensation to the farmers affected by the drought. The Electricity Board says that the power is provided without interruption amidst the dry weather condition. The second stage of the second term of the school for this year will begin tomorrow. The second Randoli Perera of the Kandy Asala Festival will parade the streets today. And that was the local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The main news story for this morning, the outgoing Sri Lankan High Commissioner to India, Milinda Borogada, paying a farewell call on Indian Minister of Road Transport and Highways, Nitin Gadkari, said that cooperation in promoting alternative to fossil fuels such as electricity and biofuels in the transport sector. Mr. Borogada called on Minister Gadkari on the Thursday in New Delhi. The alternatives to fossil fuels were seen as highly cost-effective and environmentally friendly, sustainable to a country like Sri Lanka, the Sri Lankan High Commissioner in New Delhi said in a statement. The Indian minister spoke on his country's experience in alternative fuels and expressed his willingness to share the relevant expertise with Sri Lanka. High Commissioner Borogada also thanked the Indian Highways Minister for the cooperation that the latter extended to him during his tenure in New Delhi. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Live is brought to you by
CIB Janajaya Vasana. Unbelievable discounts and offers throughout August from CIB Janajaya Vasana. Come today itself.
In Watch Live this morning, there is a risk of memory loss among children due to severe addiction to mobile phones and the internet. Karapite Teaching Hospital consultant, psychiatrist Dr. Ruby Rubens said. He pointed out that children's addiction to video games is a serious condition as well as a mental illness. The psychiatrist adds that children fail in their education and they see their parents as enemies. Children should be very careful while using the mobile phones and the internet as their future is completely destroyed due to these addictions, the psychiatrist added. And that came to you in Watch Light.
CIB Janajaya Vasana. Unbelievable discounts and offers throughout August from CIB Janajaya Vasana. Come today itself.
Headlines of the world news. Putin says Wagner mercenaries must swear allegiance to Russia. Train fire in India. Gas canister sets off deadly explosion. High altitude highest shocks Switzerland. Those are the headlines, and now let's move on to the details of the world news. President Vladimir Putin has called on all employees of the Wagner and the Russian private military contractors to take an oath of allegiance to the Russian state. The decree applies to anyone participating in military activities in Ukraine, assisting the army and serving in territorial defense units. He signed the decree on Friday with immediate effect. It comes 2 days after Wagner leaders were presumed killed in a plane crash. A fire on a train carriage has killed 9 people in India after a gas canister used by a passenger to make drinks exploded, the officials say. 9 others were injured in the fire, which occurred in the southern city of Madurai in Tamil Nadu state. The carriage was carrying more than 50 pilgrims from Uttar Pradesh and was parked at a station where the cylinder blew up yesterday. Survivors had to break the doors to flee the burning carriage, eyewitnesses said. Thieves in Switzerland have conquered one of the country's most challenging protected climbing routes. They ascended to an altitude of 2,350 meters and traversed gorges to a narrow steel cables to rob a collection box. The box belongs to a local climbing club which maintains Switzerland's longest protected climbing route on the Gabi Pass over the Lucquard Bridge. That has caused the biggest shock in what the donation box is accessible only to most experienced climbers. And that was the world news.
Development News is brought to you by
Job opportunities for well-experienced housemaids and home cooks in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait for ages 40 to 58 years. Salary 125,000 rupees. Contact 037 7500 500.
In development news, in an effort to alleviate the current severe congestion at the Katunak Bandar International Airport, which is experiencing nearly 25,000 passenger arrivals and departures a day, the Airport Aviation Services Sri Lanka Private Limited has opted to swiftly construct a prefabricated terminal. This interim solution aims to mitigate the congestion until the completion of the ongoing construction of the second terminal. According to a statement from the Ports, Shipping and Aviation Ministry, the prefabricated terminal initiative is a project to cost approximately 50 billion rupees and is anticipated to be completed within a span of 6 months. Following the completion of the second terminal's construction at BIA, the prefabricated terminal will be repurposed for domestic flight operations. And that was the development news.
Job opportunities for women from Deshakti Lanka in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and Oman. Housemaids and home cooks in Saudi Arabia, ages 40 to 58 years. Arabic speaking and well-experienced home cooks. Salary 125,000 rupees. Interviews are now on with foreign agents. You can travel overseas free of charge now. Branches Colombo, Kurunegala, Anuradhapura and Matara. Contact number 037 500 500. Deshakti Lanka Foreign Employment Agency.
Moving on to sports news, in a move towards nurturing young talent, Sri Lanka Badminton is ready to unveil a squad of 100 players under the age of 13. The final selection program took place at the Polonnaruwa Royal College Indoor Stadium with the patronage of Sports Minister Roshan Ranasinghe in the presence of the SLB President Rohan De Silva. At the end of the program, an elite squad of 40 shuttlers below the age of 13 secured their spots in the 25th and final district squad. Apart from this, an additional 10 squads, each consisting of 10 young players, were formed in 10 schools in the region and presented with badminton gear, according to SLB. That was the sports news. Business news coming up.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Poultry Association has decided to reduce the price of a kilo of chicken by 100 rupees with immediate effect, Agriculture Minister Mahinda Amaravira said. He confirmed this after a meeting with several representatives of the poultry associations at the ministry recently. During the meeting, the minister said the import tax on maize has been reduced by the government and that can be considered for the reduction of chicken prices in the local market. And that was the business news.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
In economic news, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka has ordered all licensed commercial banks and financial institutions to lower all interest rates with effect from Friday. Issuing a circular, the Central Bank has ordered to reduce all interest rates, including the mortgage interest rates and credit card interest rates, and maintain an average interest rate of 13.5%. That is economic news, and the weather report to conclude.
Weather report.
And finally, the weather report. A few showers will occur in the western and Sabaragawa provinces and in the Gaul and Mathura districts. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the Bodaragala, Ampara and Batticula districts during the evening or night. Mainly fair weather will continue elsewhere over the island. And before we conclude this bulletin, let's get back to the headlines once again. The progress review on the 2024 budget proposals will begin tomorrow. The cabinet paper is to be submitted to pay compensation to the farmers affected by the drought. The electricity board says that the power is provided without interruptions amidst the dry weather. The second stage of the second term of the schools for this year will begin tomorrow. The second Randoli Perera of the Candy Asala Festival will parade the streets today. In news overseas, Putin says Wagner mercenaries might swear allegiance to Russia. And with that, we conclude this bulletin of news.